Hello everybody, welcome back to another weather video. Today we'll be taking a look at our storm threat for January 14th through the 15th for the eastern part of the country and a little bit of the long range as we start to get some hints of what will be starting to shape up. On the screen now we have the GFS. I'll be showing a little bit of Sunday that there's a little bit of chance for a surprise little snowfall in parts of the mid-Atlantic and southern parts of the Northeast. If we take a look at the GFS here, you can quickly see that there is a low pressure that forms off the coast of North Carolina. As it starts to interact a little bit with the cold front, you have slight amounts of snow on the northern edge, and anywhere in this area could get a coating maybe to an inch on colder surfaces and high elevations, but that's pretty much it. The NAM shows a little bit of snow as well, on all the mesoscale models actually show a little bit of snow. So there could be a little chance of surprise if you wake up Monday morning going to work and going to school, but it will be nothing significant. As we move on, we also have another storm that goes through the Northeast as a clipper system. Upstate New York and into New England could get and again, light snowfall, maybe a coating to inch on colder surfaces if it does pan out. The GFS has been a little bit inconsistent with this lately, as you can see, shows snow, and then it also has a low south of Bermuda in the past couple runs. So I keep an eye on it just for a little bit of surprise on that time frame. Once again, waking up into Thursday, you could have a little bit of snow, and then our storm. Now, at one point, our storm would transfer its energy off to the coast and form out here quickly due to our high pressure up in the north. But as you can see, our high pressure is off the coast. So now our low pressure could go more of an inland track than getting squashed out to the south. And that's exactly what the GFS does here. Takes it inland, another low pressure forms off the coast, and then eventually goes straight up into Maine and out to sea. This is not the solution we want to see as a snow lover because now it brings the rain and snow line into Canada, believe it or not, for this time of year, and it would be pretty much of a rain and wind event for the Northeast, and that's pretty much what the trend has been for all the models. If we want to take a look at the Canadian, it takes it way into Canada and actually forms another low pressure into off the coast of the East Coast and brings it into the Delmarva region, giving western Pennsylvania a nice snow event if that were to manifest, and keeps the low pressure around for a couple days, believe it or not. This would be a depressing rain event for the whole eastern coast of the country. If you want to take a look at the icon, which is not very accurate if you ask me, it's just very progressive. It has the low pressure, transfer its energy off the coast, but also has no cold air to work with. And keep in mind, the icon does not show mixed precip, it only just shows snow and rain. And that's pretty much it for the global models on the tropical tidbits. I'll quickly switch over to the European on pivotal weather. And if we want to quickly pan out our system for Sunday night into Monday morning, you can see in the Northeast, Southern Mid-Atlantic state, Southern Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states, you could get a quick surprise out of the system, coating maybe an inch maximum. And then as we start to approach the 13-14 time frame, you can see the European also has a low pressure in western Ohio and western PA and takes the low pressure into Canada, throws its energy off the coast to form another low pressure, multiple low pressures, believe it or not, and then maybe on the backside gives Cape Cod snow if this were to verify. Once again, all the models have trended towards rain, and the really only chance of seeing snow is in the ski resorts, and even there is looking like a rain event for now. If we want to take a look at the global ensembles real quick, this is what the GFS ensembles show for that time frame. You can see it definitely has a lot of storms around. The signal is definitely there for a storm, but mostly all of them have the low pressure up here and then quickly transfer its energy off the coast to here. That part is good for ski resorts, but the bad thing is our 50-50 low that we had a couple days ago, it's a low near Nova Scotia. If that was there, we would have much colder air being dragged down into the country, but the models have disappeared with that. So we lack that 50-50 low. We lack that cold air, so the rain and snow line is going to be well north. If we want to take a look at the total snowfalls from all the members real quick, the total all members here, you can see not much of them have a good snowfall event besides a handful. If we take out these, you take out just a few real quick, you can see not much of them have a good snowfall for parts of the coast. And if you want to go for interior parts of the country, there's only a handful that do have significant snowfall, and that's probably overdone as well, which the GFS ensembles love to do. If we want to quickly switch over to the European here, European ensembles, and go back to the pressure maps, we can see that it's pretty much the same. You have a low pressures here, but you can see they all start out in western PA, northeast Ohio, and transfer its energy off the coast into the Gulf of Maine. Now, first off, we need this not to happen. We need the low pressure to dive down more south. We need the trough to dig more south into Georgia, have it form off the coast of South Carolina, North Carolina, maybe a little bit more north we could deal with, but it needs to be a primary off the coast, not primary dying into northern part of the country, the border of the U.S. and Canadian border. We can't have that. It needs to be primarily offshore if we want the coast to get a snowstorm, and that is very unlikely at this moment. Only the ski resorts north of this line pretty much have a fighting chance of at least seeing an inch, and even that might be a little too far south. It might be even have to be drawn up into here. Not the trend that we wanted to see. And if we take a look at the quick update on the long range, it looks like the MGL that we talked about a couple days ago is going to be silenced out by the other teleconnections here. You can see in the Midwest and Northeast, we have a 90% chance of being above normal, and only places that are below normal is southwest portions of California, Nevada, and Arizona, and the West Coast has equal chances to be above and below average as they deal with that fire hose that is going to be affecting them for probably the remainder of the month, because it looks like it's going to be relentless for the remainder of the month. You can see majority of the country besides southern Texas is going to be above or average precip wise. Definitely on both coasts is going to be above for the long range. Now, the only problem with the East Coast here is that the majority of the cold air is going to be out in the west as a trough setup, and you have our high pressure in the eastern part of the country. So, majority of this precipitation is going to be all rain. If you want to take a look at what happened the past 2 days, I will explain everything here. This is the projected track of the storm system 2 days ago. We had our 50-50 low right by Nova Scotia and Newfoundland, right over here. Let me just make it bigger for you guys. We had a low over here that would be dragging down cold air into the Northeast and giving the storm a chance of giving coastal areas a snow event. But we lost this storm up here. It's not going to form. And what has this caused is the high pressure from sitting up in northern Canada, has now transferred off the coast, which leads the storm to not get suppressed and go more of an interior track. If somehow we want this storm to start to correct itself, it would have to start doing it now. We would very desperate I'm sorry, very desperately need this 50-50 low to form again, which is very unlikely, and we also need this high pressure to stay in place longer. Now, in reality, I do not see the 50-50 low forming again, but I could see the high pressure lingering, giving the ski resorts north of this line a chance of seeing some snow, not all rain. We are 5-6 days out from the storm. There is still room for this storm to move back east, and if you notice here, the past 2 days we have shifted west 700 miles, roughly 700 miles from off the coast of North Carolina into western Indiana, Ohio region. There is still time for this to move east, like I just said, but at the moment it looks like the majority of the East Coast is going to see another rain event, and the remainder month looks to be above average. This winter so far has been a year of disappearing coastal storms that have trended into the interior part of the country. For example, Christmas Eve event started off the coast being a bomb cyclone, then ended up tracking well into Canada and Michigan and Ohio. Will the trend continue, or we finally flip the switch towards the end of the month? Thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a lovely Saturday, and stay tuned for another update coming